We're into the final weeks of the Hong Kong racing season, and Sunday's meeting at Shard 10 marks the final group races before the summer break. Here's what's coming up on HK Direct. And we're going to be previewing the Premier Cup and the Premier Plate with Sam Agars from the South China Morning Post as our special guest. Sam, thanks for joining us. 2 Group 3s for Sunday's meeting. Both pretty intriguing races too.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you, Ed. They are. There's a little bit going on in each race. Obviously, in the Cup, we've got Pingwu Spark trying to work himself out and maybe get a win for the season, and then Time Warp in the other race, who maybe cooked, but Tony Cruz is trying to tell us otherwise.
Let's have a look at the field then, starting off in racebook order with the Premier Cup over 1,400 metres, and the field is headed by the big grey Pingwu Spark. Winner's Way won the very beginning of the season, but he hasn't won since then. Johnny Banner's a rising 8-year-old who does go well over this distance. Time to Celebrate performed well from a wide draw last time out. More Than Lucky has trialled well recently. We'll have a look at that in a moment. The 3-year-old is Styling City. Dragon General rarely runs a bad race, and Flying Thunder steps up in distance for this event. When I picked up the form for this race, Sam, I wasn't sure where to look, so let's start from the very top with Pingwu Spark. He's been running in big races this season, including last time out in the Chairman's Sprint Prize Group 1, 1,200 metres, and acquitted himself pretty well, not finishing far off top of straight in sprinter Santa Ana Lane.
That's right, Ed. He's good. He seems to put in a reasonable showing every time he races. I mean, Benno Jung's run him over 12, 16, 18. He's been a bit all over the shop. Benno said recently that he thinks 1,400 may be his go, and he had a little bit of an issue. He was scratched with some colic issues, but has since trialled really well, so maybe it is his time.
And it is interesting to note too, Zach Burton jumps on board for the first time ever on this horse.
Yeah, so Zach doesn't take a ride, obviously, if he doesn't think it's a great chance, and his form's dipped a little bit maybe in the last couple of weeks, but he's still doing plenty right, so maybe that's the key to this horse.
More Than Lucky, placed in a classic mile going back to last season. Last time out on the Hong Kong Macau Trophy, didn't have a heap of luck from a wide draw, but the good news is he's drawn well, gate number 1 this time out, and he trialled well to suggest he's in good health. He
did trial well, and he's a horse that has proven he can compete at this level over this trip, so maybe this is his go. 2-time
winner over the 1,400 metres, so again, right sort of distance for him, and Responsibly takes the ride. And if you look at his previous form, particularly early on the season, ran well behind Conti, who's one of the up-and-comers here in Hong Kong. He's got the credentials to match it in a race like this. He does, and Umbi's going to be doing everything he can to get the horse over the line. Obviously, a well-liked jockey that will be very hungry for some group success. Down the bottom of the weights, Flying Thunder. He's got a terrific turn of foot. We've seen that at his last couple of starts. Do you think he can produce that stepping up to 1,400 metres? I think he should enjoy the 1,400. Coming from the back, if there's some speed on, and Grant Van Niekerk aboard, he's quite confident the horse can run well. So yeah, down in the weights, you'd think this horse can give a good showing for himself. Yes, interesting too, Sam. Flying Thunder's only win prior to coming to Hong Kong was over 1,400 metres, so certainly some proven form overseas over this trip. He's one of the chances. You can make a case for nearly all 8 of them. What does Chad Schofield make of the chances of his mount on the race, Styling City?
Seems a nice race for him. I've never sat on the horse before, but he's obviously a nice young horse. He's raced through the grades, and he's now in Group 3 with a lightweight. Small field, not much pace. I'd say we'll be up there, making our own luck, and yeah, with no weight in his back, hopefully he's hard to catch.
So that's Styling City, who could capitalise on the lack of pace in the race. Wide open event, couple of others to touch on. Dragon General ran a huge race last time out at $40, and Time to Celebrate had a bit of a freshen up leading into this. Outside of the ones we've already looked at, who should we be mentioning here?
I mean, Time to Celebrate's a very consistent horse. Never discount John Size and Joe Moreira. Obviously they team up a lot, but they always do well. So never really runs a bad race. So could be around the mark as well. As there is a few chances in the race, Ed.
Okay. Is there one though? Who are you going for here, Sam?
Maybe against my better judgment, I'm going to go with Pingwu Spark. Zach aboard, 1,400. Maybe it's time to win. It's been all over the shop this season, but maybe it might be able to snare a group win before the season finishes.
Okay, so Pingwu Spark for Sam in the Premier Cup. Let's move on to the Premier Plate. It's been won through the years by the likes of Military Attack, while more recently Helene, Paragon And also Exultant have used it as a stepping stone to Group 1 glory. Here's the field for the race for 2019, headed by Rise High, who was second to Exultant last time out. Time Warp's a dual Group 1 winner. Simply Brilliant. Seasons Bloom have been chasing the champion Beauty Generation recently. Citron Spirit's Group 3 placed. John Size is represented by Denozo and Insatiable Ribbon, a lane leading star. Savvy 6 and Mongolian King are all coming back from recent staying races. Sam, let's have a look at this race, starting off with Rise High. Runner-up in a Group 1 race last time out. That was over 2,400 metres behind Exultant. What about him coming back in trip here?
I think if Vincent Ho can get the horse to relax, it shouldn't be an issue. He's shown that he can win over a mile. I think he can handle 1,800. Casper Founds was very excited by what he saw last time out, so this horse seems every chance and could be the leading pick in the race, I think.
The track conditions will be interesting as well too. He does look like a horse that likes a bit of rain. We've had a few wet weather sort of meetings here recently.
Yeah, the rain's around. I mean, it seems like it's dry at the moment, but it can pop up from anywhere. It's certainly rained more often than it hasn't the last couple of weeks, so that's always a possibility and could well help a horse like Rise High.
Yeah, it was certainly finishing off strongly last time out in the Champions and Chater Cup. Time Warp, we know how good he is when he's at his best. He's a Hong Kong Cup winner, Hong Kong Gold Cup winner. You wrote an interesting piece in the paper this week speaking to Tony Cruz, who just wonders, is he at that same level?
Yeah, I think Tony's almost at his wit's end with the horse as to where he goes from here. He's admitted that he's probably not up to Group 1 company anymore. It's a horse that's given a lot, he's run a lot of races, but he won over the 1,800 at Group 3 level earlier in the season, and if he can get to the front and get an easy time of it up there, which the race suggests he may, you never know. He's a quality horse and he could win again.
Beauty Generation's been the standout horse this season in Hong Kong. He won't be there on Sunday, but a couple have been chasing him recently are Simply Brilliant and Seasons Bloom. Seasons Bloom is a Group 1 winner in his own right. Where do those two measure up here?
I think Seasons Bloom's could be a good chance at odds. Could enjoy the 1,800 metres. It's stuck on well in recent races, and Simply Brilliant's another that's shown that he can perform at this level, but just has had patchy form. So if he can produce his best, another horse that could be right in it.
We did see that earlier on in the season when he won the January Cup at this level, over this distance, albeit at Happy Valley. They're the top four in weight order. What about the lighter weights, the others in the field that we haven't touched on? Who springs to mind for you?
Right down the bottom, we've got Mongolian King, a horse that's been showing a little bit lately, should enjoy the distance, a long way outside of the handicap, which may make it hard, but may be able to run a cheeky race.
Yeah, I don't mind a couple of John Sizes in the race either. Denozo, who ran third behind Exultant in the Hong Kong Gold Cup back in February. Insatiable, he wasn't far off Champion's Way, one of the rising stars of Hong Kong, and thought up to 1,800 metres could be in his favour.
Could work well. Gate 11 maybe not in his favour, but he should be on speed and perhaps tracking Time Warp, and you never know. Again, it's the John Size factor, isn't it? He can produce anything with his horses.
It's certainly a strong point you make, though the wide gate might be an issue for him. Okay, we've discussed a few of the hopes. What's the selection here?
I have to go with Rise High. Stepping back in trip, hopefully not an issue. Was enormous last start. Casper's certainly very excited, and I tend to share that excitement, so I think we might see Rise High winning on the weekend.
So after the Premier Plate, we've had 30-odd group races here in Hong Kong for the season, plus the 4-year-old series. You've been covering all of the races as part of the South China Morning Post team. What have been the memorable moments that stand out for you?
Obviously very hard to go past Beauty Generation, but that's been thoroughly covered. Beat the Clock's also been a star of the season. I really liked his performance in the Chairman Sprint Prize in April. Santa Ana Lane was all the rage, and Beat the Clock, as honest as he always is, just got stuck in and flew the local flag with a really good win, so that's a highlight for mine.
There's certainly been a lot of memorable moments this season. We could have a couple more on Sunday with the final group races for the season. 10 races on the card overall. The first is due up at 12:45. So trackside live coverage commences at 12:15. Races 3 and 8 are the features. The undercard is strong as well too. We'll get to see up-and-coming exciting sprinter Voyage Warrior run with Zach Burton in the saddle for the first time. And we're simulcasting the All-Star Takarazuka Kinnan from Japan as well. For more information, as always, go to the website and to Twitter. But that's all for the show. Sam, best of luck with your picks. Ping
Thank you,
loose,
Ed.
spark and rise high. Thanks for your time.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Sam Agars, our special guest this week on HK Direct. Join us on the show next week on Friday. We look forward to seeing you then. But until then, have a good weekend.